All right, we're here, ladies and gentlemen, for late night at Inbound with George B. Thomas and friends. Yeah, the friends. Let's hear it for the friends, ladies and gentlemen.
I thought they're the friends.
They're the friends. No, you guys are the friends. But we're going to have some fun. So I'm super excited because I feel like we actually got a real place at the table this year. Like we're news anchors.
Yeah.
Table's real.
It's real table. And we're coordinated. I just want everybody to realize it's blue, orange.
Whoa.
So we are professionals at what we do here, without a doubt.
Oh, perfect.
But we are here to talk about Inbound. We're here to talk about HubSpot. And actually, Justin, because I'll not be able to do the rest of the show when you asked us the square footage of the BCEC, and I said 250 million square foot, which I do not believe is the true square footage.
That is Rhode Island.
Is that Rhode Island?
Yeah.
So Justin, to start us out right, what is the square footage of the BCEC that we're walking around in for Inbound?
So before I give that, I'm going to give the audience
See,
a
you
chance.
always got to do a tease.
You do. TV 101.
Okay, all right. It's
Engagement. Does anybody know it out there in the audience? No? No guesses? Okay. It's not 200 million.
No?
That is ginormous.
So it's really 250 million, like I said. Oh, it's smaller than that.
It's smaller.
Okay.
It is 2.1 million.
I said billion?
what?
Did you say billion?
Million. No, million.
So I was
2.1.
close with the numbers, but too many of them.
Yeah,
You're not close with the numbers because you said 250 million,
Right.
which is way different than.
I feel
2.1.
judgment right now.
Yeah, you're
Am I
already
being judged?
Yes, you are.
I don't think I should be judged because I don't know the square footage of this monstrosity
it's not that you
of an
don't know.
airplane
Your
hangar.
guess was not proportionally. That's the problem.
I'm bad at guessing. I'm bad at guessing. Although I will say I wasn't bad at guessing when I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if Ryan Reynolds would be here at Inbound?
Yeah.
Because we
Did you
did
say
guess
that?
that on the Hub Heroes podcast. We guessed that.
Oh,
I
man.
thought you were about to say, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, no, I'm
Come on
fine.
now! Who's excited to see Ryan Reynolds this
Yeah,
year?
my chair.
I
Yeah?
texted him. He didn't respond.
Oh, did you text him?
Yeah.
Rude
Yeah, okay.
that he did not respond.
Yeah, I used
So-
the breeze in Richmond. And then never did work.
Oh, Breeze in Richmond to get his data?
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum. Anyway, speaking of that, though, we'll get to Breeze because I want to bring that up. I want to talk about co-pilots. I want to talk about agents. I want to talk about intelligence. But the first thing that I want to talk about is Kyle. That's right, sir. Everybody wants to talk about Kyle Jepson. Let's just be honest about that.
Okay.
He's the man, the myth, the legend.
Hi.
Kyle, you had a session today.
I did.
And you talked about a lot during your session. If you had to boil it down to like one or two things that you would hope that everybody at Inbound could hear or see, or that our HubSpot users could think about, like where does your brain go?
Well, honestly, so maybe I'm just primed to talk about Breeze because someone mentioned Breeze, but like, I was with Max. We watched the product keynote together.
Yes.
And Max is over here like swearing under his breath, like, what is happening?
Yeah.
The world just turned upside down.
Yeah.
And I think Breeze is incredible. I'm long on Breeze, I really like it. But if you've been in HubSpot for a while, it should not be as overwhelming and surprising as it may feel if you were watching Andy's keynote. So like, Breeze Copilot is ChatSpot.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
It's rebranded, it has some new features, but if you know what ChatSpot is, that's what Breeze Copilot is. It's not a wild new thing.
Yeah.
And similarly, a lot of the agents, Content Agent is just us packaging up together the AI blog generator and the AI podcast generator and the AI landing page generator all together under a single banner.
Yeah.
And so there are new things coming. Breeze Intelligence is all new, but that's our Clearbit acquisition. So if you're following along with that, also shouldn't be too surprising. The thing that's really cool and that I like so much about it is that we've pulled it all together under this name Breeze to make it coherent, to give it a cohesive sort of story and narrative. But it's not all like wildly net new features that if you're like an admin or a partner, you suddenly have to start from scratch learning HubSpot. They have been gradually coming over the course of this year.
Well, that prospecting agent is pretty
prospecting
freaking
agent
new
is
and
wild.
caught us
Yeah.
caught us off by guard.
You're jumping.
Off guard, whatever.
we'll-
Sorry.
we'll get-
Sorry, I'm getting excited.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to it.
that.
We'll get
and
to
we'll
it.
also talk about milk and eggs later.
Oh, no.
But anyway, so here's the deal. I find it very interesting when the whole thing was happening that HubSpot actually had to name a thing that they were releasing that was actually putting pieces of a puzzle together.
Yeah.
And what's fun is it was literally the company that talks about unifying the things that have been released in beta and kind of been going around. And so it was super awesome to watch that come together because it is this level of like simplifying the complex, so people can actually like move forward in the next step. Now, you said something just now though, and I have to dig in because I can.
Here we are.
And because it's
George
Max.
Thomas and friends.
Because it's Max. Max,
Oh.
Kyle said you were cursing under your breath.
Yeah.
That the world is changing.
Not changing.
But explain why that's where your brain went and what you were thinking at that moment when you're watching Andy like just tell a whole room of folks that like all of this stuff.
No, seriously, I spent 7.5 years at HubSpot. I still have my connections. I feel like I'm someone who's like pretty plugged into like what's coming. Breeze, not a peep. I had no clue. So the fact that like now all of the AI stuff finally has like an identity, first of all, which is like what I think is the bigger, cooler thing about this, right? It's like instead of it's just like, oh, we got a billion AI features and it's plugged into like a billion different things and it's all kind of disjointed and no like one single thing, it's now Breeze. And like it has its own identity, it has its own brand, it's all kind of feels like it's unifying, if you will, right? And those features are sitting underneath this new Breeze thing and we can call it something instead of just like, oh, there's AI everywhere, right?
Yes.
But I had no idea that that was coming. So it was like catching me off guard. And a lot of the agent stuff is like, frankly, just like insane.
Yeah.
Right? The social media agent, like you were telling me that it like gets to know your industry and like found some esoteric stuff about a plant conference that was happening and like all this stuff, like that it is just nuts. But even like, you know, the prospecting agent, that like was freaking me out like crazy.
So the social media agent, the product team put me into a portal earlier last week so I could play around with it. And the theme they had made up for this fictional company was B2B plant sales, right? Like, here are plants for your office.
That's sexy.
B2B
cool.
botanicals, my God.
And like, I was in their AI agent, and it was like, hey, on the calendar, upcoming autumnal equinox. Here are some fall-themed things about plants with images and words formatted properly for all 4 major social channels.
Wow.
And I just like, now, like for a while we've had the ability when you're composing a social post inside of HubSpot to say, generate the text for me, and it generates text for you.
Yeah.
But for it to proactively say like, hey, have you thought about a special post for autumnal equinox? Like, no, I did not think of that. Right? Like, what date even is that?
So here's what's fun is there's a couple of things. Like, I'm super excited about that. And honestly, when I saw that, I was like, I got on Slack and I was like, at Maddie, learn everything about this social media AI agent. She does our social media for us. And I was like, we have to double down on that. I'm bullish on the prospecting agent. I'm like, as a small organization that we don't have BDRs and AEs in place, I'm like, could this be a piece of the puzzle to put together with something else that we can do? But the other thing that I want to mention is it crazy that I'm kind of happy that Max, you were just sideswiped and taken off guard? Like that brings me great joy.
I feel pretty plugged in. I don't anymore. No,
like, okay.
It's great, and you know what? I love it because like I still know I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna get surprised by stuff. Because it was like one thing when I was like working here at HubSpot and I would come here and see stuff and it's like, yeah, I kind of knew this was happening, but like now I get to come and everything's a big surprise, even when I think I kind of know what's coming. So it's refreshing for me as an attendee. Now, you know what I mean? It's sick. So Justin,
you can continue down the Breeze Avenue, you can talk about something else, but like when you think about inbound and you're like, I wish more people, AKA humans, knew about this thing at Inbound or HubSpot, like where does your brain go?
Well, so one of the big things that I like about Inbound, besides giving us like, hey, this is everything new, it's how you can implement it really fast. So you're not just getting, hey, these are all the nice new features, or this is what you could do. You actually can go talk to a product team right now and say, show me, here's my example. I want to see work. Prospecting, let's see it work. One of my favorite ideas with these agents is the service knowledge base. Working for you and then coming back and saying, hey, you need to create this content because your questions aren't answering it now. Then I can actually involve my knowledge base from an AI standpoint, and I'm not having to regenerate the wheel every time.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's shift gears here for a second because needless to say, everybody sitting at this table is, well, we know people. We see people, we talk to people. I'm curious if there's one conversation that you've had with somebody that you either were like, well, that was a shocking conversation or an aha moment that like you're excited to dive into something or create something or do something in the future?
I had it 5 minutes before we went live.
Man, God is good.
Yes.
All right.
And it literally, the lady I was talking to, she has been in HubSpot for years. And she goes, I need to hire, but I don't have to hire as many people now.
Oh.
Because of the way it was presented, like you can use these agents as supplement workers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we don't need humans. We always need humans. How do you sell? You sell to a human. You're not selling to an AI machine. Wait, he is real. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. With that, we can expand and create that creativity farther because of AI.
Yeah.
I love that, and that's what she said. I had no say.
You know what's like really interesting about that too is like, think about like, we're knocking on the doorstep of no longer having the issue of like, oh, I can't deploy that hub because I don't have a customer success person.
Yeah.
Because I don't have BDRs for my salespeople, right? Like, we're not that far away from a world where it's like, if you don't have the person power to run that hub, there's an agent that can basically play that role until you do at like whatever capacity that it does. Which in a year from now, what is that even gonna look like?
Or even
you know what
just
I mean?
digest what was requested
Exactly.
to then go build the hub.
Yeah, totally. Crazy.
It's interesting, and Kyle, I'm going to go to you next for the question, but Max, when I hear you say that, the thing I think about is if you're going to lean into that world and if you get that capability, now it comes down to two things as an employee or a business owner of how curious can I be and how creative can I be with the tool that I now have to fill that gap. I think that that's a word that we're going to hear a ton at Inbound, well, a couple words, curiosity and creativity. And I think there's going to be this level of looking at these agents in a mindset of iteration.
Yeah.
Because it might not be the greatest of assistants out the gate. Nope. But you have to think about when you hired the last employee, they might not have been the best employee out the gate. They had to get training.
For sure.
So Kyle, conversation that you had that you're like, aha, or, well, I didn't see that coming.
So not about any particular HubSpot products. Mostly Inbound for me is me getting to connect with people who we have interacted on the internet, but never in real life, or in a very limited context in real life, right? People love to come up and tell me sometimes very personal stories.
Oh, yes. Yes, that does happen.
And the one that has just really rocked me today that I'm still sort of processing, a guy came up to me, he's like,
Is this G-rated?
It totally, yeah.
Oh,
no, not those kind of personal stories.
Holy
mackerel.
But that's where I was going. I was like, where are we going?
This guy came up to me, and he's like, oh, we're like passing in the hall.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, hey, Kyle, I quit my job because of you. I was like, what? I was like, this is not a passing in the hall. Like, come back. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I don't know if you remember, you once in passing said this thing that like,
oh, wow.
I don't, as he said it, I was like, I don't even know in what context I would have said this phrase, but he's like, it made me realize, like, I was living below my potential at the place I was working, so I left and started my own business. So and I was like, holy moly.
First of all, that's amazing, but also scary as crap.
Right, yeah.
Like, as a human, you're like, ooh, I have that ability.
Right.
I do have just a side kind of tangent question. How many selfies have you taken so far? Like, how many
last
people?
10 minutes?
Well, or just today. Like, so, if you had to guesstimate.
Funny story.
Okay.
2 Inbounds ago. First one back in person post-COVID.
Yes.
That was the first time we'd had, because me posting regularly on LinkedIn is a thing I did to keep my sanity during the lockdown, right?
Yes.
And so it had been a couple of years of that, and come to Inbound for the first time, and suddenly there were just people who want to take selfies with me, which was weird and uncomfortable for poor introverted little Kyle Jepson.
Right.
And so last year I was like, I need a way I can manage this, because after Inbound 2022, I was telling my wife, I was telling everyone, like, no, like a lot of people wanted to take selfies, like a lot, and they'd be like, how many? Can you estimate? And be like, I don't even know. It was just so many. So last year, something I did that helped me quantify it and really process it is I got a little clicker counter app on my phone. So I can tell you that today
have the real number.
I'm at 51.
Oh.
And yesterday I hit 38.
Oh.
And so I'm at 89 for Inbound.
What time did you
Total
get? Hold on.
89
What
now.
time did you get here?
This morning?
Yeah.
Sometime during the 8 o'clock hour.
Right.
How many per hour is that?
It's only 5 o'clock.
But over but over the 2 days, 89 so far.
So far,
selfies.
yeah.
Insane.
My man.
Thanks.
All right, so we only have, believe it or not, 3 minutes. Holy crap, 30 minutes flies when you have this crew.
Okay.
So I have this question, and this question, I love her to death.
You love this question?
My
Steph?
wife.
Oh, okay.
Yes. She hates AI. Like,
That's an awkward house.
Yes. we have conversations because I talk to my AI agents like they're human, and she's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's not talk to my wife Kelly, but let's talk to the business owner, the employee who is like AI Heisman. We'll start Max. We'll work your way down. What do you say to those employees about the importance of mindsets, embracing? Where do you want to take them?
I mean, the big thing I would always say is like, use it, don't abuse it, right? I heard someone saying the other day we're going to be like more co-creating with AI versus like AI taking over our job, which I think is like a really kind of beautiful way of looking at it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, don't be afraid of it, but also keep your eye on it. I would say, because like the big thing that I'm kind of like walking away with this year is like, usually inbound to inbound, I can go like, okay, they did this. I would probably be at next year, they're gonna like do this, be it like a new feature, this. I have no clue what they're gonna do next year.
Right.
Like if this is what this is now,
Yeah.
usually I'd say like, oh, probably a couple new APIs, or like this new feature they're gonna add to Sales Hub, or like whatever. I have no.
Do you always use
freaking
that voice?
clue,
I think
dude.
he does.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's me. I'm speaking healthfully. I'm talking at a healthy volume. This is how I do it. But yeah, I mean, that's exciting. I got no idea what's gonna happen next
So,
year,
Yeah,
and
it's hard
that's
to even
like
imagine.
kind of freaking me out, but like super exciting.
Yeah, the abusing side is you got to iterate with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people get frustrated with AI because they're like, well, I asked it to do this and it didn't do that.
Yeah.
And I love telling people when
Sounds
you
like
meet
a human.
when you meet somebody new, do you just start telling them your life's no.
Well, it depends. If
Well,
you're Kyle Jepson, then
right,
people just
yeah,
come up
yeah.
and
People
say,
just
like,
yell at you.
Yeah.
But
I
most
quit my
of
job.
us, if you
Yeah.
meet somebody new, you've got to give it contextual information. Who are you? Where are you from? Why do you have a southern accent?
Oh.
Because I live in the South.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you start a chat bot, Breeze, ChatGPT, whatever, and you're just like, hey, write this code for me, or hey, write me an email, it's going to write you junk.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving it information. So
Yeah.
iterate process.
Dude, you're stealing my talk for tomorrow.
Perfect.
I love it.
But if you don't know how to iterate, George has this awesome talk tomorrow.
We have a talk tomorrow. Yes. So Kyle, your answer to the question, what would you tell?
Yeah, so I am also a person who has intensely mixed emotions about AI.
Okay.
And I will tell you, Max and I, as we're watching the product keynote, the Hey Gen version of Andy Petrie kind of freaked us out.
Yeah. Now, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
And so,
There was
but
like the emotions were a little like
the thing to understand,
Oompa Loompa
right? Like
style.
in Content Hub in HubSpot, for instance,
Yeah.
you can Content Remix can output entire podcast episodes
Yes.
with audio included.
Yes.
And the thing you have to realize is like, Hey Gen or podcast production, that's not for me. That's not for you.
Right.
Right. That's not for you.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just gonna keep doing our thing.
Right.
That we do.
we like our faces.
Right, and we are comfortable just talking at a mic, making things up on the
Yes.
fly like this.
Yes.
If you are a person who that is an insurmountable barrier, your brand and your experience, you have things to share with the world.
Yes.
But the thought of talking into a microphone to record a podcast or talking into a webcam to make a video is just like, kill me now, I can't do that.
Yeah.
AI is gonna help you a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I think AI is so broad. It can do so many things that like it's really helpful for some if you're a business owner, there's some aspect of your business
Yeah.
where it can help you, right? Where there's something you cannot currently do
Yeah.
because you're spread too thin or that's not your skill set.
Yeah.
And that's where you introduce AI. If you're really good at like sales prospecting, don't start with AI prospecting. Like,
Right.
why would you do that if you're already
Yeah.
strong there? Think of AI as the place to make up for all your weaknesses, all your deficiencies, all your gaps that you can't fill by hiring people or by upskilling yourself.
So-
and that's where to insert
Hold
AI.
on, I just
love
want to
this.
say real quick, I applaud you for not doing the Hey Gen hands while you were giving that very
I don't even
specific
know.
response,
I
and
can't.
you had
He's not
very
here.
specific hand motions.
Yeah, he's real.
Yeah.
He's here.
No, good job.
It's interesting because Kyle, when you say that, what I hear is that it can be your assistant that can augment you as a human in the places that you know that you're weak in. But to know that and to do that, you pretty much should know your strengths and your weaknesses,
Right,
and
yeah.
then build a roadmap out based upon that.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be you personally. Like Max was saying earlier, if you can't build a customer support team right now, you just don't have the funds or whatever to do
Yeah.
that. Start with a little
Yeah.
AI chatbot, and add
Yeah.
humans later when you're able.
Write some knowledge-based articles,
Iterate.
and if it gets that
Iterate.
context, you can use it.
So we're supposed to iterate.
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 All right.
Isn't that what we do in life?
I mean, if you're doing it right, I feel like it is. Yeah. Because trust me, if I was old George today, I wouldn't be sitting at this desk, but we had to iterate along the way.
Damn.
Bam. Hey, everybody give it up for Max Cohen. Yeah. Give it up to Justin Givens from Simple Events. And give it to Kyle Jepson from HubSpot Academy, the Inbound Universe, God Among Men.
The Monday morning briefing.
Monday morning briefing.
Yeah, these two.
Give it up for George.
George, yeah, right there.
I'm George B. Thomas from Sidekick Strategies, and remember to be a happy, helpful, humble human, and do some happy HubSpotting along the way.